Good afternoon, everybody. This is Damon Bond, licensed real estate broker in Connecticut and in New York. Hope everybody is doing well. It's good to speak with you all. As I promised you before, I'm back on. I had a very busy summer, but I'm back in the swing of things. So I hope everybody's doing okay. I had an email from somebody who was asking about REO properties foreclosures. That's what they're interested in. So I figured this segment I'll go into REO properties, what they are, how to purchase one, obtain one, and so forth. And somebody, I did a video feed on this before, sometime I think in 2016, late 2016, early 2017. But I'll do it again because information is power. So if you ever have any questions, you can always email me at dbond011@gmail.com. That's dbond011@gmail.com. Give me a call anytime. The number is 203-394-8123. So what are REO properties? REO properties stands for real estate owned. That's what they are. They're basically properties that were foreclosed on by the bank. So the bank owns them. Now, another type of property that's also owned, another type of foreclosed property that's owned, by the lien holder is what we call HUD Properties. And HUD Properties stands for the Housing Urban Development. And these are properties that the government themselves own. Maybe they were FHA loans or some other type of governmental loan. But in any case, they took them over. So you have two types of properties. A lot of people aren't familiar with that. So let me just say both properties are similar. They're both foreclosed. And usually they require some repair. So I'm going to talk about the similarities, and I'm going to tell you about what are the slight subtleties involving in both property. Generally speaking, REO properties usually, in many cases, need some type of rehab work. This could be from minor to severe. Minor meaning, maybe the floors are scuffed up, maybe the carpet's dirty, got to be changed. Maybe the ceiling had a leak in one time, what have you. That's minor. Everything to a roof is another minor thing, and relatively speaking, I mean, it's a costly minor thing, but it's a minor thing. Needing a new roof. Some major things could be foundation, mechanicals certainly is one. There's no mechanicals in place, so you don't have a water heater, furnace, boiler, whatever to use to heat the place. The pipes have been ripped out, mold. Freeze damage because the pipes burst because the property wasn't being taken care of. So it varies from both extremes. REO properties or bank-owned properties, and I'm going to use the term interchangeably, so just bear with me. Over the years, have gotten a lot better. They've been taken care of. When the market was flooded with them back in 2007, 2008, 2009, pretty much they were like, the house stunk. The grass was, way high. It was like you in the Serengeti Plains. But the banks have done a much better job in taking care of and preserving these properties. And partly that's because of the states and cities have been cracking down on them to do that for all sorts of reasons. So they're much better. Chances are the electricity will be on the place, so they're good. So what does it entail to purchase one? Well, first of all, you can get a mortgage for the property if the property is not in disrepair. You get a conventional mortgage, it's possible. You can 20% down or whatever. You could do that if the property is not severely damaged. If the property is in disarray, disrepair, then usually is a cash deal. In fact, they'll tell you they want a cash deal if the property is in disarray or disrepair. Because no bank is going to lend you money because there might be a problem with appraisal, and the banks ain't going to want to give you that type of money. So that's the first step. The second step is if the property is dumpy, the house itself, but is in a really great neighborhood, is in a really great area, you're going to have multiple bidders on that property. And chances are you're not going to pay a property at face value. So let's say there was a hot property in Greenwich, Connecticut, right? I'll just name Greenwich because I'm licensed in New York and Connecticut, right? Right across the New York border, Greenwich is, expensive homes. Let's say there was a $100,000 property, which is unheard of. Okay, single family house, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, whatever it is. Chances are that will go viral. You're going to have multiple offers. This is something that the listing agent and the banks like. So what happens is usually everybody's going to put their bid in at once. They'll review it or sit on them, but they'll review them. And then usually the listing agent will say, okay, we have multiple offers on the property. So you have until 5 p.m., Friday, end of the week, to submit your highest and best offer. So a lot of times REO properties will be sold for more than asking price. That is a possibility. And so the days of you getting a steal on REO properties, I won't say they're over, but pretty much if a bank-owned property itself is already under market value, because of the condition of the property it usually is in. So with that said, you're already getting a good deal to begin with, usually in most cases, generally speaking. So lowball on the banks, no, because the banks have a philosophy, they have a mantra, it's our way or the highway. They'll go on to the next person because basically it's all about their bottom line. That's the first aspect. The second aspect is this. Also, if a property is in great condition, you'll find the same situation if the property is in especially great condition. So the thing is, you can have a conventional mortgage. That's fine. Just understand that you're gonna have to cough up some more money usually to get the REO property because there'll be multiple offers on it. That's the first thing. The second thing about this is, can you get wrong lecture. Can you get a bank-owned property with a FHA loan? We talked about FHA loan before. It's 3.5% down. It's a great way, so that way you're not going to drain your bank account buying a house. The answer to that question is yes. However, FHA is a little bit more stringent on the condition of the property, so you're going to run more hurdles into that. A way to get around that is to take out something called a 203K loan. 203K loan, basically in the business, is called a rehab loan. Through this loan, you could buy a house that's totally messed up, or excuse the expression, jacked up, to be, colloquial. You get a hot property that's in disrepair, and the bank will allow you to purchase that with 3.5% down. Then on top of that, they'll give you a loan, and it's built in to repair the property. You could do this up to $35,000. Anything over $35,000, then you have to get a structural engineer or something like that. I forgot how it is. Mortgage is not my thing per se. I'm a real estate guy, I'm a house guy, but the money people can be able to tell you that. Any reputable mortgage company can tell you about the 203K. So you want to contact your mortgage person for more details with that. But in regards to that, pretty much up to $35,000, you can repair the property. And this could be anything. You want new cabinets, you want to redo the floors, you need new windows, you need a new roof, you need some mechanicals in there. So this is done because the banks will come and appraise the property, but because you're getting an FHA, they say, okay, yes, the property is in disrepair, but this individuals are purchasing the property, so therefore the property will be fixed up, and then they're going to get up to par with the other properties in the neighborhood. So that's the way around. It's called 203K. So if you're searching for bank-owned properties or may get one, you may want to tell your lender, hey, listen, I want to get a 203K, and that's not usually a problem. So there's possibly get one for the 203K. Now, earlier I mentioned about HUD. Now, a lot of investors are interested in buying HUD properties because they're great deals. Sometimes you actually get properties like real cheap. HUD properties a little bit different. HUD properties are sold through the federal government, Housing Urban Development. So you can look yourself for a HUD property. What you want to do is you want to go to HUDstore.gov. That's HUD, HUD, store, as in a grocery store.gov. So that's HUDstore.gov. And what it does is all 50 states, they'll show you all the properties that HUD owns, and they want to get rid of them. They want to get rid of them really bad. And the good thing about HUD properties is usually they will allow you, owner occupants to bid first. That way the investors, the sharks, are not trying to outbid you. So if you're going to live in that property, you're going to fix it up or not fix it up if it's overly great, but usually it's not great, you can actually bid first and you can submit your offering. If nobody takes a bite out of it, no interest, then it's open up to everybody else, investors, speculators, whatever it is, and they get to do it. With bank-owned properties, with regular REO properties owned by banks, that's not always the case. It's whoever is the best deal wins. But this one, they do allow the little people, if you will, to get the properties first. So HUD Properties, similar to bank-owned properties, HUD Properties usually will allow a repair escrow, meaning what? Meaning if there is something, needs to be done, it's not that much. It's like a couple $1,000s at best, but you can do so. So that'll take some of the burden off you, and you still get that 203K loan, put in place for the repair. The only difference with HUD Properties is this. With a HUD property, and the only people who are allowed to put in an offer for a HUD property are HUD certified real estate brokerages. They're allowed because they have a specific number. So that means they're eligible. They've been vetted out by the govs. You are eligible as a real estate brokerage, if you have that, to submit properties on behalf of a client. Those are the only brokers, salespeople who are allowed to do so. So not anybody can put a HUD offer for a HUD property. A lot of investors don't know that. This is something that you have to be, you apply and you do it. So if you want to know who in your area, be it New York or Connecticut, who in your area is allowed to submit HUD properties, you can go in the HUD store as well, and they'll say, okay, you can type in the state and the city and the zip code of where you want to buy this property. They'll give you all the HUD people out there. If you look at Bond Realty Group is HUD certified, so we can sell HUD properties. You don't have to be a HUD specialist in order to sell, foreclosed properties owned by the bank, like be it Wells Fargo's or Chase or TD Bank, whoever the mortgage holder was, whoever owns a house. So a lot of people don't understand that point. I'll do these things. And I failed to mention there's one other aspect. You also have Fannie Mae homes. And Fannie Mae is that subsidiary of the federal government. You don't have to be any type of, certified anything like HUD. It's similar to regular REO properties, only ran by Fannie Mae, which is kind of a quasi-governmental agency and stuff. So you go into Fannie Mae website. I forgot this thing, but just type it in Fannie Mae, and it'll tell you where the properties are located. All right, so basically, yes. So you have HUD properties, as I said before. You have regular REOs, and you have, Fannie Mae properties. The one thing all these properties have in common is just make sure you have your finances lined up. Make sure you turn all your paperwork in when it's necessary, because sometimes they'll charge you per diem, meaning per day, if you don't have stuff in. Every time you don't close, it's like $150 for every day that you don't close. So if the closing date, let's say, was September 12th, which is tomorrow, you don't close tomorrow, they can penalize you $150, $175, and they'll do it until every day you close. So you want to be careful for that. That's why I said usually with the banks is their way or the highway. I hope this is very helpful to you. And once again, if you have any questions, just email me, dbond0